Let's all hug a thug. I'm Brian Lilley with the Rebel.media. The Liberals, aided and abetted by CBC, are getting ready to undo years of work that turned our justice system from one that favored criminals into one that favors and puts the emphasis on victims. The latest example, proof that the Liberals want to return to the good old days where criminals came first. They want to undo changes that made getting a pardon harder to get. That's right. The Liberals not only want shorter jail terms for convicted criminals, they want it to be easier for them to erase their criminal records altogether. Speaking with CBC, Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale said this: the previous government had a certain ideology and a certain approach that needs to be re-examined as to whether it was then or continues now to be appropriate. Meaning Goodale doesn't like treating criminals badly? What Goodale is concerned about is the length of time it takes to get a pardon, now called a record suspension. Convicts have to stay out of trouble with the law for a minimum of 5 years before they can apply for a pardon. Some have to wait 10 years if they're convicted of serious crimes. And if you're convicted of sexual crimes against children, you can't get a pardon. It must really bother the Liberals that criminals are serving longer sentences and being held to account by society for their crimes, because Liberals believe in reforming prisoners. Well, the fact is, about half of those released from federal prison back behind bars within a year. Well, that's the stat. Federal research from back in 2003, back when the Liberals had been in power for a decade and we were dealing with their policies. 44% back behind bars within a year. Not a good stat. Some estimates put it much higher, by the way. But never mind, Liberals know that prison is about rehabilitating people, and they're going to do that even if it doesn't work. And they're going to help by erasing crimes from public view. Remember, the push for this change came after it was revealed that Graham James, that monster of a hockey coach that sexually abused boys across Canada, was convicted of more than 350 instances of sexual abuse and sentenced to just 3.5 years in jail, was pardoned after he got out. Pardoned before he faced more charges against him for sexual assault by other players. Does Graham James deserve a pardon? Liberals would think so, and they want people like him to get the pardons not only sooner, but much cheaper. The price to pay for a pardon was boosted from $150 to $631. That's too much for Goodale, who said, "It looks to me that what was done was far beyond any measure of practical cost recovery. It was, in fact, a punitive measure, and I think with the appropriate authorities within the government, we need to re-examine that decision to see if it was appropriate." Seems like he's made up his mind. So in addition to promising to get rid of a pile of mandatory minimum sentences so that criminals aren't in jail for too long, the Liberals now want to make it easier to wipe away their conviction record and do it cheaper. Rather than helping victims, rather than focusing on those hurt by crime, Liberals appear set on taking us back to the good old days of a justice system run for the good of criminals. Elections have consequences, folks. Don't say I didn't warn you.